Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Autism in Action podcast. Today we have the Director of Employment Programs, Miss Sandy Jordan from Able, South Carolina, here to share us all about their amazing organization and what they do in our community. Thank you so much, Sandy, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
If you don't mind, just share a little bit about the Hire Me initiative that's going on that's sponsored by Able and the South Carolina Disability Employment Coalition.
Yeah, sure. So the Hire Me SC is a statewide campaign that promotes a culture of inclusion across South Carolina. And really what we believe and what we want is that every individual, whether they have a disability or not, that they can work. And so we really want employment to be the norm rather than the exception. What we find is that for a lot of folks with disabilities, it's not necessarily expected that they will work. And so we want to change that narrative because we know that people with disabilities can work and want to work. And so we really celebrate that through Hire Me SC, as well as we host different types of events. And we feature individuals with disabilities that have been successful in employment to try to change that narrative. And so what we find is that, we do a lot of outreach with individuals with disabilities, educators, employers, and service providers on really to try to change that employment outcome and just make sure that everyone knows that employment is achievable for people with disabilities.
That is so important. Everyone deserves to have the ability to contribute into society in the best way that they can and find their purpose and fulfillment doing that. I know as a mom with two on the autism spectrum, that's definitely a challenge. And we're working through that as they are advancing towards independence. So, what other things are going on, like events that you guys have?
Yeah, so one event that we offer for people with disabilities, specifically for people that are receiving disability benefits, so SSI or SSDI, is the Hire Me SC campaign hosts 10 different disability benefits and employment workshops. And these events are throughout the state. And typically what we do is we bring in a benefits counselor to talk a little bit about the myths around disability benefits and employment, because often we find that there's a lot of misconceptions about if you can receive disability benefits and work. So we want to dispel some of those myths. And we also provide resources and different services during those events. So we partner with a wide variety of different employment service providers in the area, like Vocational Rehabilitation, Commission for the Blind, Department of Employment and Workforce, Department of Disabilities and Special Needs, that attend these events and share information with the individuals that attend. And so that way folks can get connected to agencies that can help them in their employment journey. We actually have, we just posted this on our Hire Me SC Facebook page, but we just organized our next benefits workshop, which will be in Gaffney on December 10th, and that's from 1:30 to 3:30. So you can check out our Hire Me SC Facebook page to learn more about that.
Now, the best way if someone wanted to look you guys online, what's your website?
So the website is www.hiremesc, and that's one word, .org.
Okay. And is there anything else going on in terms of Able that's not with the Hire Me initiative, but some of the other services that you guys offer?
Yeah, so Able, South Carolina, we're doing a lot. It always feels like we're always doing so much, and we're always just expanding and adding new things on, and that's really exciting. But just to give you a little bit of background, Able, South Carolina is what's called a Center for Independent Living, and we are a consumer controlled, consumer-directed organization. And I really feel like that's one of the main things about our organization is that over 80% of our staff are people with disabilities. And so we really feel like we are the best to kind of lead this movement, because not only do we have the professional experience, but a lot of us have that personal experience with disability. So a lot of us can really relate to other people with disabilities because we are people with disabilities.
Right.
And so it kind of creates this cool dynamic where we're able to really understand where folks are coming from.
That is incredible. Incredible. You guys have been
Yeah.
for a long time, haven't you? I think 20.
Yeah, so Able, South Carolina, yeah, started in 1994. So actually this year we're celebrating 25 years.
That is awesome. So you guys do transitional services too for the youth services?
Mhm. Yeah, so we have a lot going on with our youth. We have our Equip peer support group, and that is for youth with disabilities and led by other youth with disabilities. So it's basically, peer support on a youth level. And so these youth, they get together every month and just talk about, what's going on with each other and really also talk about advocacy, self-determination, disability rights. And obviously, some of that is employment mixed in on there because we do have some youth that are currently employed, and then we've got other youth that maybe they're seeking employment, and they get to relate to some of their other youth on, okay, well, how did you get a job, or what kind of process did you go through to get that? We also are providing services and lessons to youth across South Carolina. It's called Pre-Employment Transition Services, where we go into the schools and do lessons on things like self-advocacy, disability rights, disability pride, all those types of topics to help individuals prepare for life after high school. So, that not only includes employment, but also independent living, also looking at transportation, also looking at, if individuals eventually, want to be married or start a family, all aspects of independent living. And those lessons are also taught by youth with disabilities.
I think that is absolutely amazing. One of the things that I often talk to my clients that are adolescents and preteens in session is, you're adults in training, and we need to go ahead and check out what I call AIT as soon as possible so we can start to prepare for that. So that's great that you guys are able to offer such a network of services, because that's a lot. That's a lot that you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Before we wrap up for the evening, is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners, or in terms of any other upcoming events or anything like that?
Yeah, I would just love, for folks to get connected with us through the Hire Me SC campaign, through Able SC, obviously Hire Me SC. We've got the website, we've got a Facebook page, we've got an Instagram page, we've got a Twitter page, and then we also have all those different resources through Able SC as well. One thing that I think folks may be interested in with the Hire Me SC campaign is that we do have resources on our Hire Me SC website. So we have resources for individuals with disabilities, educators, service providers, and employers. And the resources for people with disabilities, a lot of it focuses on what employment services are available to me, what transportation options exist. Will I lose my benefits if I decide to go back to work? So we're really trying to answer some of those key questions that we know people with disabilities have when it comes to employment. And so we would love folks to check out, some of those resources. And then if they need help navigating any of this, they can definitely reach out to us through the Hire Me SC page. We have a Hire Me SC email address. So hiremesc@able-sc.org. Or, just contact me directly at Able South Carolina. Our toll-free number is 1-800-681-7715. And I'd be happy to help them kind of navigate some of those employment services, because I know that it can be tricky, and there's a lot of different agencies out there. And I actually, before I came to ABLE, I worked for vocational rehabilitation for 10 years. So I feel like I have some knowledge with those different agencies and things like that. So would love to help them kind of navigate through all that. And if they're interested in services with ABLE South Carolina, great. But you know, sometimes it may be another organization that may be best suited for them. But we can definitely help out either way.
Amazing. And you guys are located in Greenville, South Carolina. Is that correct?
Yes, we actually have an office in Greenville, and we also have an office in Columbia. So Columbia is our main office. And so we mainly, as far as consumers, we mainly serve that upstate area and then the Midlands area. So Greenville and Columbia.
Well, Sandy, thank you again so much for taking the time today to share all of this information with our listeners. I hope that they are able to gain a lot of value from this and connect the pieces of information that they need. Thank you again so much.
Yeah, thank you.